Hello, is Rainey there, please?
Hello, this is Rainey. Is this Lolly calling all the way from goddamn Australia?
It's me. I'm back. I'm across the pond. God damn it.
That's okay. I'll forgive you.
It was fun while it lasted. But look, at least we're going to get through this episode without having fits of laughter and having to pause the episode because we can't get through it.
I know. Look, I'm so sorry for all the gory details, but hey, I thoroughly enjoyed telling you the story and the uncontrollable fits of laughter along the way.
It was a great time. All right, Rainey, we're going to jump into a big old case today. Pretty sure you're going to know it.
Ooh, I was wondering actually. I was like, because I'm starting to research one. Is this going to be the one that I'm researching?
I just want to quickly tell some of our new listeners, because I know we've got some new people following along. If you don't know the concept of our show, so Rainey and I are twin sisters. We live apart. So Lolly here, I live in Australia. Rainey is back in our hometown in Christchurch, New Zealand. And we talk on the phone all the time, like a ridiculous, unhealthy amount of times a day. It is. It's not right. So I thought, you know what? Let's record these conversations and actually make use of our time. So now here we are. We've created this podcast. It's going probably better than we thought.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
I think it's going great.
They're intrigued by the twins, you know. Growing up, we always heard people say, I wish I was a twin. So like, you guys can just be twins with us.
Exactly.
We jump on a call every week and we tell each other a true crime or scandal story. So we don't know what story's coming. Most of the time we've never heard of it before, but of course there are massive cases that we've all heard of. So that's the concept of the show. So thanks for joining us. We're going to jump right into the episode. Are you ready?
So ready.
Let's go, girls. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, come on. At the beginning of September in 2021, Nicole Schmidt was waiting by her phone. She hadn't heard from her daughter for a few days and she was starting to get a little worried. You see, her daughter, Gabrielle, was out on a little cross-country road trip with her boyfriend, Brian. She'd heard from her daughter on the 30th of August saying no service in Yosemite. As you can imagine, being out on a road trip, of course, it's going to be a little shoddy reception. So she was trying not to get worried, but it had been a few days since this text message came in. So she was really worried about her daughter, was only 21 years old. So naturally, she's checking her phone all the time, just waiting for that text message to come in. Nicole's husband and friends and family were reassuring her, do not worry. She's going to be fine. She's with Brian. A few more days passed. And now we're talking about the 6th or the 7th of September. And she's like, something's not right here.
Can't handle.
So she messages Brian, says, hey, Brian, what's going on? Is everything all right? Crickets. So Nicole reaches out to Brian's parents and is like, yo, have you heard from the kids? Do you think that they're okay? Crickets.
Oh, for God's sakes, there's crickets everywhere.
I know. Ooh, she hears nothing. So on the 11th of September, Nicole has had enough and she goes and files a missing persons report for her daughter, Gabrielle, also known as Gabby.
I mean, that is just a parent's worst nightmare.
It is. On the 13th of September, a couple of days later, Brian would also go missing. So what the actual WTF is going on here? Is this sounding familiar to you?
It is actually.
Yeah. Everyone knows the story.
Oh, yeah.
But do you really know the story?
Probably not.
Let me tell you a little bit about our girl, Gabby Petito, born in March 1999 in Blue Point, New York.
Young,
beautiful, 21 years old. This girl was like a ray of sunshine. Like, you look at this girl. She is just gorgeous, petite, bubbly, bright, fun, blue-eyed, sunshine.
Petite potato.
Petite Petito. Young Gabby, vibrant Gabby. She is from a blended family. So her parents actually had her very, very young. I think they were about 20, 21. And they separated when Gabby was very little, and they both remarried or both have new partners. So Gabby from a very young age had her mum and dad and then her mum and dad's partners in her life. So big families. There was 6 siblings.
Brady bunch.
And they were all really happy. Gabby's parents were nailing the co-parenting. From the outside and from everything I've heard, it looked like they were really happy, a really happy upbringing, lots of siblings. It was great. She had actually gone to school with Brian. So Brian is 23 years old. They were young. They started dating after school. They sort of reconnected after high school. March 2019, they reconnected, started dating, and things were going really well. By July 2020, these 2 lovebirds were engaged.
Woo.
It's a bit young, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like you don't really know what you want at that age.
No, look, we've all been there. We've all been engaged at that age. Someone proposed to me when I was far too young, and I remember, let's hope they don't listen to this podcast, but like when they asked, I cried, but not out of happiness, out of like, my life is over. And then when I would leave the house, I would take the ring off and I'd hide it in my back pocket.
Oh, shit.
Too young. I know, shit. I wonder if Mark will leave that in. We'll see. He's probably like, fuck that guy. So
she's mine.
Gabby and Brian were full on living life, doing their thing. They were living at Brian's parents' house for a while they saved up some money because they had this dream of buying a van and doing the hashtag van life thing.
Van life. Wow. You'd know all about that.
Well, I would know all about that. Mark and I got a van. It was Mark's idea. He converted it. I think we went out like twice, so we couldn't quite cut it as van lifers. So these guys were ready to quit their jobs and hit the road. I guess the idea of van lifing was just really exciting. If you've seen the YouTube videos, it paints a pretty cool picture of, living out on the road, all the freedom, the beautiful places you can travel to. I think in reality, it's not that fun.
It's pretty compact.
Yeah, like it's probably fun, but there would definitely be challenges like, look, guys, sometimes you need to pee in a bowl. Like how many nights do you want to pee in a bowl?
No, I think I'm good.
It's not for me.
Not for me either. No.
I think it's all right if you've got a willy, you just go flop it out and go do it behind a tree. But when it's dark and there's coyotes around.
Coyotes.
Coyotes. I'm not going out there to pee behind a bush. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. Mm-mm.
No.
Gabby had these hopes and dreams of becoming a online sensation, a vlogger, a travel influencer, hashtag van lifer. That was what she was setting up to do.
I feel like that's pretty much everyone in that age gap's hopes and dreams. What's a real job these days? Even though, that is a real job, but it's just what everyone wants to do.
Yes, I think the influencer dream is strong and it promises a lot of freedom and money, but in all reality, it's a lot of work. If you're wanting to do the YouTube thing and create vlogs and editing videos, let me tell you guys, it's a fucking big job. This podcast takes all week. Do you know? It's a massive undertaking. So as much as the idea of it seems really cool, there is definitely a lot of hard work that goes into it and a lot of consistent hard work that's unpaid, you know? Mm-hmm. But she was ready to do it. She was going to do it. So you go, girl. Brian and Gabby converted this van. Gabby saved up her money and she bought this Ford Transit van, 2012. So Ford Transit isn't like a big full-size van. It's one of those vans, looks like a bit of a half car, half van situation. Mark hates these vans. It's small. Like, it's a bit small. If you're van lifing, it's definitely the smallest van on the market, I think, in my professional opinion. I will say though, Gabby did a fabulous job of converting this van. She didn't half-ass it. It had the beautiful wood paneling on the ceiling. There was artwork on the walls. The bed was all beautiful. There was even little spots with greenery and flowers poking out from the walls. I mean, it was just delightful. And these guys set off in July 2021 to go on a 4-month-long cross-country road trip.
4 months, that's quite a long time, isn't it?
It's a long time to pee in a bowl.
Jesus.
Okay. Gabby and Brian are actually at Gabby's home with her mum. She gives her mum the biggest squeeze and her mum is definitely feeling a little apprehensive of her young daughter going out on the road, but there is comfort in knowing that she's with Brian and she really wants her to have the best time of her life. So Gabby and her mum, Nicole, lock eyes, say, I love you too, mum, and off they go. on their adventure.
Setting her baby free.
That's right. But only for 4 months. These guys left New York and they went on an adventure. They went to Kansas. They went to Colorado. They went to Utah. They went to Canyonland National Park. Sounds like a theme park.
Does, doesn't
Canyonland.
I want to go to Canyonland.
I want to go to Canyonland. They went to Moab, Utah, Salt Lake City. They were just cruising around, living their best life. Gabby was posting beautiful snapshots on Instagram, the highlight reel. The photos are beautiful. The Instagram, it was curated. The first vlog goes up on YouTube and you can go and have a little look. And again, showcasing all of the beautiful sights they're seeing, showcasing the love between Brian and Gabby. They're just sneaking little kisses here and there, frolicking on the beach. I mean, this is what we see every goddamn day when we go online. Everything is absolutely perfect. Perfect. On the 25th of August, so we've been traveling on the road for about 5-6 weeks now, Gabby gets on the phone, has a chit-chat with her mum, checks in, lets her know how great everything is. Then on the 27th of August is the last known sighting of Gabby and Brian. So they go to this little Mexican restaurant. At this point, they're in Wyoming, so this is another state. And they are heading to Grand Teton National Park. So it's just a lot of open land national park.
It's a lot of driving.
Oh, it's a lot of driving. That's what we know so far about their amazing adventure that's all splashed on the internet. We come back to the beginning of our story with Nicole unable to reach Gabby. So on the 11th of September, when Nicole has filed the missing persons report, it doesn't take long for her to get a phone call back from the police. And they say, well, we've got a little update for you, Nicole. Brian is at home, alone.
Brian.
With Gabby's van.
Come on, Brian.
A few more things you want to know. He's been home for almost 2 weeks.
Fuck off.
And he has a lawyer.
Sorry, what?
I know. And,
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what Nicole's thinking, WTF. As Nicole is getting this information, it's definitely hard for her to kind of even understand what she's hearing. It's like her jaw is on the floor. Her heart sinks into her stomach. She's like, what the fuck? Where is Gabby? Like now it's actually like we've got a serious problem here. The stress has increased for Gabby's family because where is their baby girl? Gabby is a very small, petite little girl. She's young. She's very vulnerable. The thought of this young woman being out in the wilderness on her own is terrifying to her family. Nicole wants to talk to Brian's parents, wants to know what's going on. Brian's parents, Chris and Roberta, have friggin' blocked her phone calls and deleted her from Facebook.
I mean, what the actual fuck, guys?
I know. And let's just be clear. Gabby and Brian weren't together for like 2 days. They had been together for years. Gabby's parents and Brian's parents, they knew each other. Gabby lived with them.
Also, as parents, like, come on.
Yeah, not cool. And we're gonna deep dive into all this. This whole thing absolutely exploded on social media.
It actually did. I followed.
Oh yeah, it was like a true crime docuseries playing out in real life. Internet sleuths, they came out in droves. Everyone was on the investigation. Everyone was doing the work except what seemed like the fucking goddamn police. Let's start getting into the nitty-gritty, shall we?
Yes, please.
Yeah, because I am outraged at what actually happened. So, as I mentioned earlier, Brian had been home for almost 2 weeks from when Nicole has filed the missing persons report. And these guys already lawyered up. They were on the phone locking in their lawyer from the 29th of August.
Yeah.
They said nothing. And it was so amazing because the police couldn't do anything. They just refused to talk. Everyone started to descend on the Laundry's house. That's their last name, fucking Dirty Laundry. They had the media camping out. They had all these people demanding to know, where is Gabby? Like people chanting, where is Gabby? Like, get the pitchforks.
Gabby?
Yeah, that's right. They wanted to know. And that's fair enough. If I lived in Florida, I'd be on their freaking front lawn too.
They'd probably have a few people out to get them, right?
Especially the armchair detectives. When this whole thing blew up on social media, I believe it was around the COVID time, so we had nothing else to do, right? So let's just jump on the bandwagon. Everyone started to dissect their Instagram posts. People were starting to speculate that maybe her latest post wasn't even from her, that maybe Brian had posted it up, because they were talking about the roots, like her hair didn't look like it matched the timeline of the way that her hair would grow out.
Wow.
We also know that Brian hadn't been seen. At this point, no one really knew where Brian was. Maybe Brian was in the house. People wanted to know where Brian was. They wanted to know where Gabby was. They were looking through all of the YouTube footage. We've got this perfectly curated version of these two looking just so loved up. So why is Brian not helping with the investigation?
Yeah.
Why is he refusing to talk?
It looks pretty dodgy.
It does look pretty dodgy. More information is coming out, Rainey, and it turns out when Brian returned with the van on the 1st of September, him and his family took a little camping trip for 2 nights.
Oh,
They decided to go on a little holiday.
as you do. You know, girlfriend missing.
Apparently the sister went as well, and she said that no one talked about anything. I mean, that's very odd. But also at this point, we know that nothing's come out in the media. Her mom, Gabby's mom, doesn't even know that she's missing. So who knows what was actually going on? Were they making a game plan? Did they head out into, like, you know, the wilderness so no one would know what they were talking about? It's pretty bizarre. Flash forward to the 13th of September. This is when Brian would leave his home and he would never be seen again. So 2 days after Nicole has reported Gabby missing.
Mm-hmm.
So the online frenzy, the media frenzy, social media posts, it's ramping up over these next few days. And again, no one really knows what's going on, but all fingers are pointing to Brian because,
Yeah.
you know,
It's not
you don't
looking
leave.
good.
No, you don't leave your little girlfriend out in the middle of nowhere and just return with her van. It's just not something that happens. On the 16th of September is when everything would change in this case. So I'm going to send you a little 911 call.
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's it at?
5'6" beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative. What do you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by, and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Okay, you said it's a white van?
White van. I can give you the license plate if you give me 1 sec. I took a picture of it.
Let me make something very clear. You don't refer to any man that slaps a woman as a gentleman. Do you know what I mean? How about like garbage man?
Mm-hmm.
He's a garbage man.
Yes.
And not the good kind that pick up your bins on a Monday morning.
No.
You know?
Dare I say it, he's a piece of shit, Molly.
Flush him! Flush him down the loo! That's where he deserves to be. In the
Exactly.
sewer. So, anyway, flush him, flush him, flush him. This is quite distressing. And from here, we see this altercation play out. We have this 911 call, this reporting, this sighting of a garbage man slapping a woman. And the police, they find the small van, they pull them over, and then the body cam footage would be released into the public. And this just flipped everything on its head because up until this point, we'd seen this beautiful online bullshit version of their relationship. And now we see the real Gabby and Brian.
It's so bad. Just like if it was that bad, don't go on a 4-month road trip, you know? Maybe the van life really put them in a bad place.
We'll just play this last little clip.
I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an all-organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That was my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country. And I'm trying to start a blog. I just have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website. So I've just been really stressed. And he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it. So that's kind of been like a, I don't know, he's like down there. I don't know. We've just been fighting all morning.
So there's two people that came to us and told us that they saw him hit you. There's two people saying that they saw him punch you. We're just independent witnesses by Moonflower.
Well, to be honest, I definitely hit him first.
Where'd you hit him?
I slapped him in the face.
You slapped him first? And then just on his face?
And he kept telling me to shut up.
How many times did you slap
Bravo,
him?
Romeo, India, Alpha.
Just a couple.
And then what? And his reaction was to do what?
Grabbed my arm so I wouldn't slap him.
He just grabbed you?
Yeah.
Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, and then I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth if he actually hit you.
I
'Cause,
guess,
you know-
I guess, yeah, but I hit him first.
Where did he hit you? Don't worry, just be
He
honest.
like grabs my face. It's like
Very distressed Gabby, fragile, vulnerable voice. She's taking the blame, saying it's her fault. And then if we go to the footage of Brian,
We just had a little disagreement there. And the disagreement was just that she was getting a little worked up, and I was saying, "Oh, it's okay, thank you so much."
As long as it's cold, that's good.
I wouldn't even call it disagreement. It was just that I'm dirty and I can't change being dirty. Like I got dirty feet, I got sand on my flip flops and stuff like that. It was that we were at the coffee shop for so long because we were there from 9 to 3. So yeah, there's a few little things, little relationships. I don't be in a relationship. I'm sure.
I've been married for over 5 years now. So.
There's a lot of little things. Right? Yeah.
he is very confident, very calm. At one point, it honestly feels like the police and Brian are broing out. I'm like, stop that.
Stop
Not
being
cool,
friends.
man. Stop being friends.
No.
And basically, what's happened, I've watched the whole body cam footage. It goes for an hour. What happens is Gabby admits to hitting Brian first. And when the police are saying that, did he hit you? She's very she's dancing around it. She doesn't really say that he hits her. And then she said that he's hit her first and then he's grabbed her. She clearly has marks on her face, but then also Brian has marks on her face too. So the cops are thinking like, okay, she's a very small, petite woman. She is actually the aggressor and Brian is the victim. That's what they're basically coming to that conclusion because she's hit him first.
Poor Brian. I mean,
I know.
ridiculous.
The thing is, though, where they are located in Moab in Utah, the police legally have to make an arrest or a citation over a domestic violence dispute, but they chose to just let it go. So they separated the two of them. They actually took Brian to a hotel and left Gabby in her van, which was kind of weird, but it was Gabby's van after all, so whatever.
Yeah. Well, Gabby should have just head on home.
I
See
know,
you
and
later.
there's this whole thing that the police, if they'd just done what they were supposed to, could have potentially saved Gabby's life. Maybe if one of them was arrested, Gabby's mum would have been called and then, it would have changed the course of what plays out. So, But anyway, so this came out and there was an absolute outrage from the public because of what I've just mentioned. The police didn't do their job properly. Here's this fragile little upset girl and then they've got Brian who's cool, calm, collected and they're like laughing and making jokes and nice to meet you, Brian, when they drop him off. And not cool, man. From there, we have another sighting that's been at the Mexican restaurant I mentioned earlier. On the 27th of August, we've got a couple that's gone into this Mexican restaurant in Utah. They can't help but notice Gabby and Brian because they're having a fight. Gabby is crying. Brian is getting angry and aggressive. Gabby's apologizing and they can't help but notice what's going on between the two of them because it's sticking out like bloody dog's balls.
Bloody awkward.
On the 17th of September, so a day after the body cam footage has been released, we have a sea of media and people with pitchforks outside the laundry's house.
Good.
And there is a cop strolling on up to that front door. He's holding a document. It's looking good. It's like, finally, are they going to arrest the dirtbag? A little knock, knock, knock on the door, and in goes the cop. No one knows what's going on. Well, Brian's parents wanted to file a missing persons report. Because at this
Brian's
point, no one really knew where Brian was. People thought Brian was at home. And I actually didn't realize that he'd gone missing. He'd left the home 2 days after Nicole had filed the missing person report for Gabby. So on the 17th, we've got Brian's family. Now their son's gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby's parents are outraged and they make a statement saying, let's be clear, the only person missing is Gabby and Brian is hiding. It's like, yeah, that's right.
So true. Mm-hmm.
That's so true. So the internet, those armchair detectives, they are doing their thing and they are piecing together a little timeline. And we've got some more van people.
Oh,
We've got the Bethunes.
the Bethunes.
I know, it's unfortunate, isn't it? The Bethunes, not to be confused with buffoons, are a little van life family with kids and dogs. I believe they've got a bus, actually, bus life hashtag. They are seeing all of this stuff play out in the media as we all did, and they see this picture of the van and they're like, recognize that van. I recognize that van, because they believe they drove past it. They remember heading into Grand Teton National Park and they drove down this dirt track and they remember seeing this van parked up to the side and it had Florida license plates and they're from Florida, so it did stick out to them.
Can I say something? I don't pay attention to anything.
I don't even know what day it is, girl.
Like, I'll walk past me and they'll be like, hello. I'm like, oh, hi. I just don't. Maybe I need to pay attention.
Maybe if all you had to worry about was the wind in your hair and the dirt under your tyres because you're a vanner, maybe you would pay attention, Rainey. Maybe there's a lesson in all of this for you. You just got to hit the road, girl. Miss Bethune, she runs to the GoPro. She pops out that little memory card, starts to go through the footage. Please, 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 let there be the transit van. And fucking holy shit, there it is, Rainey.
Ooh.
Parked to the left. They drive by and they see the van. Now, the crazy thing is about this footage, Rainey. Do you remember this footage?
No.
They saw the van. This was on the 27th of August. This is on that last day that we have that sighting of them at the Mexican restaurant. Mm-hmm. It's about 6:30 p.m. It's still daylight. The footage is a bit grainy, so they're trying to like really make it a bit more crystal clear. When they're driving up to the van, the back door is open a little bit and then it shuts. So someone's in there. So it's like, who's in there? Is Gabby and Brian in there? Is Brian in there? Is Gabby in there? Is she alive? Is she dead? What is going on? But it was just a bit eerie to see like the door shut in that moment. This is incredible that she has found this footage. She uploads it to YouTube because of course that's the first thing you're going to do when you're a YouTuber. Got to get them views.
You do.
And then she calls the FBI. Okay?
Priorities.
That's
Priorities.
Right. Views and then the FBI. So she calls them up. She's like, yo, it's Miss Bethune here. I've got something that you're going to want to take a look at. So you have to upload it on their website. Okay, so she goes and uploads it to the FBI website with her little YouTube link because it's already live. And they go, holy shit, that is Gabby's van. So they head on down to Grand Teton National Park and they start to look in this area to see if they can find Gabby. What will they find? Will they find Gabby in a makeshift tent? Is she fine? Is she out there toasting marshmallows? Unfortunately, on the 19th of September, they would find human remains 300 meters from where this van was parked.
Wow. That's so sad.
It's so sad. The coroner is doing their thing, trying to identify the human remains and figure out what exactly has gone on here.
So what date is this?
This is on the 19th of September. So she was reported missing on the 11th of September, but we know that the 27th of August was the last time that anyone saw Gabby. On the 21st of September, we have confirmation that it is Gabby's remains and that she has died by strangulation.
Oh, fuck you, Brian.
So we know at this point that it's a homicide. She has in fact been murdered, and now this is absolutely devastating for the family. Also for all of the internet sleuths, the armchair detectives, and just the general public, because everyone wanted to have Gabby return to her family safe and sound.
Of course.
The fucking dirty laundries, though, have said jack shit. Sick.
Crickets.
Absolutely
Crickets.
disgusting. And get this, there is footage of these two, the parents, Chris and Roberta, just coming in and out of the house. It must have been horrendous for them to just have this sea of people yelling and screaming at them. At one point, the dad comes out and mows the lawn, like just let your grass be long, mate. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
It's like so awkward. He's mowing the lawn and the reporter's like, where's Gabby? Where's Gabby? He's just like,
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Oh
so awkward.
God.
So
Not right.
at this point, Rainey, can you believe it? We do not have an arrest warrant for Brian for the murder of Gabby, but they do issue an arrest warrant for Brian for using Gabby's credit cards.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm so sorry. But like, what is wrong
I don't
with
understand.
the police?
What is wrong
Like, what
with
the hell
legal
is going
system?
on?
Can you believe that you can just say nothing and they can't do anything? This is unbelievable. I do not understand it. Obviously, he's also not there at this point, but he was there. They had actually set up surveillance in the neighbor's yard to know where he was. They were saying to the public, don't worry, he is a person of interest. He is not a suspect as of yet. This is before they found Gabby's body, but we're keeping an eye on him and we know exactly where he was. When Brian left the house, they mistook Brian for his mum. And that's how he left the house. He just hopped in his car and off he went. Can you believe it?
Was he dressed as his mother? Maybe did he have a wig?
Well, his mum has short hair. Mind you, Brian has no hair, so I don't fucking know. Who
Maybe he's
knows?
maybe he was wearing one of his mum's hat or something.
Yeah, something weird like that. So the family obviously absolutely devastated. Gabby's mum said she knew that Gabby was gone. As soon as she found out that Brian was back, she's like, my daughter's dead. She just knew it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course
no
she
way.
would.
Yeah.
He's been home for 2 weeks.
Sicko. So the search for Brian intensifies. You thought that Gabby's internet sleuths and all the bloody detectives were going nuts, but now, I mean, they were on a goddamn rampage. They wanted his head. And the tips that came rolling in, it was just absolutely ridiculous. You know old Dog the Bounty Hunter? This was his career comeback, Rainey. He was going to find him. I mean,
shit.
he was at the forefront of the search and he was documenting it and he was like finding these makeshift camps. I bet he just set them up like, you know, come on guys, get ready to film. They set up their little makeshift camps and they stumble across it like, has Brian been here? And so
That's a Blue Witch.
yeah, that's right. But can you believe it? Old wet rag Roberta and garbage man Chris, they don't even go out and look for their son. What is wrong with these people? They do nothing. They
That's
don't.
weird, isn't it?
It is so weird. I don't understand it. They don't go looking for Brian.
Very private people, aren't they?
Incredibly private. Look, maybe they're just a bit camera shy, you know? But you can go out in private. There was COVID. Put a fucking mask on. You know? So the search for Brian is going on and on and on. And everyone's like, he's living out in the land. Brian didn't like to wear shoes. If he can live day to day with no shoes on, I'm sure he's probably going to survive out in the bush because only a savage would wear no shoes. You know?
Well, to be fair.
A barbarian.
I got to have a phone.
He's a buffoon. That's right. He was with the buffoons. No, he wasn't. So he is God knows where. Everyone is pissed off at the laundries. 4 weeks goes by. Roberta and Chris haven't lifted a goddamn finger. And they go, you know what? We're going to help now.
Oh, I mean, just let him get a really good head start.
That's right.
I prayed a family meeting. This is where I'll be.
Well, listen, Rainey. This search was huge. There were quad bikes, swampy, boaty things. There were dogs. There were drones. There were people everywhere. They were in an area called the Carlton Reserve. It's about 24,000 acres. So massive plot of land. It was very swampy, very wet. Chris and Roberta are like, we're here to help, guys. Step aside. And fucking 27 minutes later, they found him. I'm not even kidding you, Rainey. It was like 90 minutes into them helping, they found him. It's like, did you have him in your backpack? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm shouting.
Dead or alive, Lolly?
They found him dead, Rainey. He was a goner. he was actually under about 3 feet of water, because what had happened was this area at this time of year was very wet, 70% submerged underwater apparently, and then as the water receded, Roberta and Christopher just knew apparently where, like, I'm not kidding you, they went in there and they're like, here's his notebook.
I mean, I do remember hearing stuff like this, but they must have spoken about it and they would have been like, right, let's have an area. I mean, you just don't go in after weeks on end.
I know.
And just
like,
go, surprise!
And not like, you know, sending out the fucking Boy Scouts. Like, this was sending out people that do this for a living and they couldn't find him, and these guys come out and it's very, very odd.
Out of control.
So this is very infuriating, because now we've got Brian gone, we've got Gabby who's been murdered. It would very quickly be revealed that Brian had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
Coward.
Yeah, garbage man. Garbage man, he's the garbage man. Stick him in the garbage can. We nailed it.
Oh, that's...
Oh, I'm going to really, really annoy you in a minute. You ready for this shit? Garbage man left a note.
Oh, good one.
Do you know about the note?
I don't. I know about the notebook and stuff, but no, I don't know.
Oh.
To be fair, I probably did know, but I can't remember.
See, I thought I knew, and then I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know this, but maybe I just forgot. They found Brian's remains. I will say, obviously, for the laundries, this would have been quite upsetting, but we will get to all of it. This was definitely, they can take some of the blame for this.
The laundries?
Absolutely. That they've got now, their son is now ended up, 3 feet under.
3 feet deep in water.
Yeah, that's right. When they found Brian's remains, they found some of his belongings, including a suicide note. I really am annoyed at this note, and I'm going to read it, and then we will dissect it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Warning, guys. I'm going to piss you off immensely. Gabby, I wish I was right at your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made, getting even more excited for the future. Fuck you, Brian. But we've lost our future. I can't live without you.
Garbage.
I've lost every day we could have spent together, every holiday. I'll never go hiking with TJ. I loved you more than anything. I can't bear to look at our photos, loser. To recall great times because it is why I can't go on. When I close my eyes, I will think of laying on the roof of the van, falling asleep to the sight of a meteor shower at the Crystal Geyser. I will always love you. Fuck off! If you were reading Gab's journal, looking at photos from our life together, flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her, knowing that every day you'll wake up without her. You wouldn't want to wake up. I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I know was adored by many. I'm so very sorry to her family because I love them. I'd consider her younger siblings my best of friends. Fuck you, Brian. I'm sorry to my family. This is a shock to them as well as a terrible grief. Bullshit! Obviously, those parts aren't in there. I'm just adding sound effects of how we're all feeling. Sorry. Oh, my God. Okay. They loved her as much, if not more than me. Massive eye roll. A new daughter to my mother, an aunt to my nephews. Please do not make this harder for them. Are you ready for it? Get ready for the outrage to brew. Okay. This occurred as an unexpected tragedy. Rushing back to our car, trying to cross the streams of Spread Creek before it got too dark to see and too cold. I hear a splash and a scream. I can barely see. I couldn't find her for a moment. I shouted her name. I found her breathing heavily, gasping my name. She was freezing cold. We'd just come from the blazing hot national parks in Utah. The temperature had dropped to freezing and she was soaking wet. I carried her as far as I could down the stream towards the car, stumbling, exhausted, in shock. when my knees buckled and knew I couldn't safely carry her. She was 100 pounds. I started, you know what I mean?
I know.
I could carry her for 3 days on my back and be fine. I started a fire and spooned her as close to the heat. She was so thin, had already been freezing too long. I couldn't at the time realize that I should have started a fire first, but I wanted her out of the cold, back to the car. From where I started the fire, I had no idea how far the car might be. I only knew it was across the creek. I pulled Gabby out of the water and couldn't tell me what hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger. Her feet wet. Her wrist hurt, but she was freezing, shaking violently. While carrying her, she continually made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said little, lapsing between violent shakes, gasping in pain, begging for an end to her pain. She would fall asleep and I would shake her awake, fearing she shouldn't close her eyes if she had a concussion. She would wake in pain, start her whole painful cycle again while furious that I was the one waking her. She wouldn't let me cross the creek, thought like me that the fire would go out in her sleep and she'd freeze. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it was what she wanted, but I see now the mistakes I made. I panicked. I was in shock, but from the moment I decided I took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. I rushed home to spend the little time I had left with my family. I wanted to drive north to let James or TJ kill me, but I didn't want them to spend time in jail over my mistake, even though I'm sure they would have liked to. I'm ending my life not because of fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her. I've lost our whole future together, every moment we could have cherished. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Please do not make life harder for my family. They lost a son and a daughter, the most wonderful girl in the world. Gabby, I'm sorry. I've killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart. That should make some of her family happy. I mean, bro, where were you at the top of Mount Everest? Do you know what I mean? The car was like 6 minutes away. No one's buying it.
No, I mean, I reckon that they have gone and created this big elaborate story on that camping trip they went on.
The only person that would write that letter would be a garbage man. Like, you're right. What the hell? And like, I'm sorry. Who's believing that?
I mean, it sounds outrageous.
Let's just break it down. Your little 100-pound petite girlfriend tripped and fell in the creek, and now you have to strangle her to let her out of her pain because you can't walk 3 minutes to the car. Because that's the reality of it, Rainey.
It's outrageous. He's putting the blame back onto her as to why he did it. You know, it's just like, come on, dude.
Gutless, coward, poo bag man.
Garbage man.
He still couldn't even take ownership. And that's why I'm so pissed off. Because if you're going to kill yourself, just do the decent thing and own up to what you did and sincerely apologize. But you're blaming it on Gabby.
I know. It's outrageous. It's disgusting.
I'm sorry for all the shouting. I'm outraged, as all of us are.
I know.
So from here, incredibly disappointing because now there's no justice for anyone. He deserved to be put on trial, go to prison for the rest of his life, own his shit. But now we have two families that have lost their children. The Laundries are responsible for Brian's death in my eyes, because if they actually just urged him to do the right thing, you need to go and talk to the police.
Hand yourself in.
And assist in helping Gabby, we wouldn't probably be in this situation. This is everything that we know as of around late 2021, but more information has come out about the parents because, as we know, Ziploc mouth shut laundries don't say anything, but we have new information about exactly what it was that they knew.
Ooh.
The Petito family have sued the Laundries. They've had a wrongful death suit going on and also a civil case for inflicting emotional distress. So this is where everything has come out. So let's rewind to the 29th of August. Gabby was likely murdered on the 27th or the 28th.
Right.
Brian's parents have said in the deposition during the civil case that on the 29th of August is when, in their words, shit hit the fan. They had gone from having very sporadic phone calls with Brian, just, every probably week or so, to all of a sudden we have 20 phone calls in like a 24-hour period.
Shit. Uh-oh.
Brian rings his mother on the 29th of August, and this is around 4:30 p.m., and they have a conversation for an hour. In this phone call, Brian is frantic and he has told Roberta that Gabby is gone and he needs a lawyer.
Oh, gone isn't dead.
Well, they have said they didn't know what gone meant, but fucking bullshit.
I mean, come on.
What does gone mean? I need a lawyer. I mean,
I know, right? Isn't just like left him.
I know.
Give me a lawyer.
They're still saying they didn't really know what that means, but that's just such lying losers. From there, they would have phone calls to and from each other it's like every few minutes. We've got Brian's dad calling Brian, Roberta calling Brian, like mum and dad calling back and forth, back and forth. Then they call their lawyer in Florida. He's not a criminal defense attorney, but now he's in on it. And he's saying we need to get you a criminal defense attorney in Wyoming, which is, as we know, that is where Gabby's body was found. So now he is trying to get them a lawyer in the state of Wyoming because wherever the crime occurred, that is where you're going to be tried. So he would need to have a lawyer there. So this is all proving that these fuckwits knew everything that was going on. Again, phone calls to and from. We've got the lawyer calling Brian on the 29th.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not even home yet,
He's not even home. He's on the road.
Oh, right.
Brian drives home. So this is on the 29th of August. And he arrives home on the 1st. This wasn't some little 2-hour trip. He's about 40 hours away from home. So he's not sleeping.
No,
he is frantic. He's peeing in a bowl and he's driving.
He's peeing in a bowl.
I mean, he can. He's van lifing, right? So he gets home. And then these guys go on a camp trip. And again, as you mentioned, maybe this is where they're planning their story. It is also revealed that the message that was sent to Nicole, Gabby's mum, on the 30th, which says no service in Yosemite, was actually Brian messaging Gabby's mum to throw her off the scent. They were nowhere near Yosemite. Like Yosemite's in California, I believe. Is that right? You've been to Yosemite, haven't you?
I have.
So trying to throw her off the trail. Also, dickwad Brian is texting Gabby's phone and then responding on Gabby's phone.
Oh, my God.
Like creating this conversation to and from, again, just to cover his tracks. And then when he gets home, he's turned Gabby's phone off and it's never turned on ever again. He also then goes out and gets a new phone plan with AT&T on the 3rd or the 4th of September. So his phone, he's like, getting rid of all the evidence. You fucking loser. You're going to drive home in a van? What were you thinking?
What was he going to say? She left and then there's like cell phone pings on towers and they're together. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's not no criminal mastermind.
Idiot.
So all of this stuff came out. Thankfully, Gabby's parents did win a wrongful death suit and was awarded $3 million.
Great. Can they pay it?
Well, this will all come out of the parents' assets.
You're right.
Yeah. And then from there, they've gone on for their civil case for this inflicting emotional distress. The lawyer is also being prosecuted because I don't really know how it works. If you hire a lawyer and then that lawyer is trying to cover up the crime, that can't be okay. I hope he gets disbarred or whatever it's called. He needs to be flushed as well. So they actually come to a settlement that's been kept quiet. We don't know what that is. This whole thing's a bloody mess. The Petito family are suing the Moab Police Department because it was their duty.
Well, they did, yeah.
Yeah, it was their duty to arrest someone to move forward with some sort of action on this domestic violence dispute, not bro out with Brian.
I know.
That's still ongoing. I don't really know what's going to happen there, but we've learned a lot from this case. We've learned that you cannot believe everything you see on social media, online, on YouTube. I've watched all the footage and it's just sickening because I'll be honest, he seems lovely. He seems like a really peaceful, calm, not a very like masculine man. There's nothing really dominating about him. He's very quiet. Gabby's super sweet. They just seem like a really sweet couple. And then who knows what actually went on behind closed doors, but this is a perfect example of not letting yourself be sucked into the bullshit of social media. And also there were signs along the way for Gabby to get out of this relationship. The altercation with the van being pulled over, she was going on that he grabbed her face, she had scratch marks. He did too, but like not healthy. Do not hang around for this kind of behavior because who knows where it's going to escalate to.
And it's also a bit of that, if that's happening, it won't be the first time.
No, definitely not. No. So that is the Gabby Petito story, #van life. Everyone knows this story, but we were always going to tell it because we have to get through all of the stories on our podcast.
We do.
But Rainey, can you handle this van life true crime scandal?
No, absolutely not. I feel he is a disgusting garbage man who deserves to be put in a can.
That's right.
And set on fire. I feel like it's just
That's right.
I feel like it's just so shit because he could have he was going to kill himself. Just be a man. Kill yourself, but just like go down with the crime, you know?
That's right. That is right. It's so infuriating.
And his parents, like, I mean, come on. They actually deserve to go to jail.
You know, Gabby's parents, well, mum has actually come out and said she forgives Brian, which is a massive thing. I don't know how you get to that point, but people do.
Must be God.
Yeah. But she has said she will never forgive the parents, and fair enough.
But she forgives the man that strangled.
Look, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it, Rainey. She hasn't got that far of forgiving all of them. How could you forgive the parents? How could you forgive any of them? I don't know. It's finding peace within yourself, though, to move forward because when there's been it's a horrific thing that she's been through. But I think when you can find forgiveness in your heart, it can set you free in a way, you know?
Yes. Well, that leads me to ask the question, can you handle this true life, van life? I mean, I'm confused. Can you handle this crime and scandal? Oh, fuck.
#van life.
Can you handle this van life scandal? No. Can you handle this van life true crime scandal?
Absolutely not. I am appalled that they could just sit quietly in that house and have nothing happen to them. You know what? We all want to protect our children, but I don't know how they could do this to Gabby's parents in order to protect their son. It wasn't like he had just stolen something. Like it wasn't like he was trying to protect him from, he did drugs. Like this is like he took somebody else's life, someone who was so close to them. And by the parents trying to protect Brian, they have ruined their whole life. Yeah. They have lost everything. They've lost their son. They've probably lost their house. They've lost all their money. They are hated by the US, well, probably international public. By trying to protect their son, they ruined everything for everyone. They should have just served him up on a silver platter, and also said to Brian, "You got to own your shit, mate. You got to own up to what you did." So definitely not. The whole thing sucks. Gabby was a very, very beautiful young woman. She was putting herself out there. She had so much life to live, and it just sucks. So there you go.
It's terrible. Maybe just don't go out in a van with your partner.
That's right. Just take separate vans. Oh, gosh. So look, there goes another episode for Can't Handle the Crime and Scandal. I just want to say a big shout out to Dallas in Christchurch. She's been tuning in. I think she's even roped her husband into these episodes. So yes, she's been really enjoying the episode. So big shout out to you, Dallas. Thanks for your support. Thanks for tuning in. To all of the Can't Handle Crime and Scandal family, we love you guys. If you have any requests of any stories or cases you want us to cover, please send them over to us on our Facebook or Instagram page at Can't Handle Podcast.
If you want to share with a friend, share away.
And we promise we won't bullshit you with any of our fake online versions. What you hear is what you get.
That's right.
We are the real deal over here at Can't Handle the Crime and Scandal. Apart from the Botox. All right. Love you, Rainey.
Love you too.
Have a great day.
Be careful.
Oh, you too. Bye. Garbage man, he's the garbage man. Garbage man, he's the garbage man.
Garbage man, he's a garbage man.
Garbage man, he's the garbage man.
Did you like that one, Mark? Did you like that one, did you?